It's time for the Ravagers to rise once again to glory!
You are listening to The Ravager Report, a Fox Next Marvel Strike Force podcast dedicated to bringing you the latest news, information, and updates. With your hosts, Dorian.
It is a name what strikes fear into the hearts of anyone what hears it!
And Chew-Brew Hammer.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all!
What is up, everyone, and welcome to the Ravager Report. I am your host for today, Chew-Brew Hammer, the one and only, and today is very special because we have another Chew-Brew takeover. Oh god, my bars are huge from doing that.
I don't want to know what that means.
Yes, let's see. Wash. This is a PG-ish show, so I can't say what I was about to say. But it is a euphemism.
You're talking about like Snickers bars. Bars.
Exactly.
You got one of those king size, like, you know, it's supposed to be for two people, but we all buy it for ourselves.
Sometimes it's shared.
Okay.
All right. This is probably going to have to be cut, or Dorian will flip. We'll see.
All right. Did you want to redo it then?
No. It's fine. We'll be good. All right, guys. So yes, today is another Chew-Brew takeover. We have Chewburger84 in the house today. How you doing, buddy?
I'm very good, thanks, mate. Pleasure as always. It's been a little while since we've grouped up on MSF. It's not like we haven't done about 1,000 other podcasts in between, but it's been a while.
Yeah, exactly. We do podcasts all the time, so this is really no difference. But yes, with R&R, it has been quite a long time, so it's going to be pretty exciting. That being said, we do have a fairly short episode today. For external reasons as well as internal reasons, there isn't too much news, so that's good-ish, I guess. It will be a shorter episode. Some of you guys are probably like, heck yes, short episode. Some of you are probably yelling at the screen right now. I have people clamoring for like 4-hour episodes from whenever you were on the show for a bit. Do you remember those?
Yeah, they went long. When you got three or more, it's always tough when you've got so many different topics, and usually there's so many news stories every week. It tends to pad it out for sure.
Yeah, I honestly, I could not do another 4-hour one. There's no way. I think it's just because right now the state of the game is still fairly frustrating. So a 4-hour episode is just too much. But I think like the sweet spot for me at least is like the hour and a half zone, you know. I think that's like,
yeah, with things I listen to, that'd probably be about right.
Yeah, I would say like, actually ideally, like I would be set on like an hour ideally. I think that's the best length, but Dorian likes to keep them longer. Some people love it, some people don't, but that's typically what ends up happening.
Some people like long ones, some people like short ones. Exactly. That's just the way that the world works, man.
It's all up to you. It's personal preference.
It's all about how you use your podcast, really.
Gosh. Dorian's going to be so mad.
There was nothing in there that wasn't PG-13, please. I don't know what you were talking about. Get your mind out of the gutter.
All right, guys. So let's go ahead and move right on to the first thing, which is going to be actually, first of all, it's going to be a big thank you to all of our patrons. Of course, we really appreciate all the help, all the donations. It means so much. And for any of you guys that do want to help support the show, you can go to www.patreon.com/Ravager Report. That will bring you right in. You can check out all the tiers that we have going into our Discord and checking out our Patreon section. You can hang out with all the guys. You can talk crap about me or Dorian if you want to. That's fine with me. I want to do like a roast thing sometimes. I think a roast thing would be pretty cool at some point.
I think all they need to do to start a roast is to hear you talk about like what happens to you as a human being when you see a bug, and then it would just sort of go from there.
Dude, I have another actually like really good bug story. Everyone, for Dorian, it's Rose Watch. People really like Rose Watch for some reason. I don't get it. I say it all the time.
What is Rose Watch?
Rose Watch. He just talks about growing roses.
Does he?
Yes, Rose Watch 2019.
Right. So we're over now talking about red stars, and you guys are like, "Well, the petunias are fantastic this time of year."
This is how it starts off. He knows that I'm not a fan of this segment, so like
Right.
I've said it on the podcast every single time whenever it starts. But yeah, that's not that I'm against the segment, but I think it's ridiculous that it is a segment. But whenever it's the what did you do this past week, it's always Rose Watch 2019. Is like, well, the roses are coming in absolutely beautiful this week. So
Okay.
yeah,
I might have to ask him if he like fertilizes it himself, like if he just has like
he does
some sort of external valve from his toilet through to his rose garden.
He probably does. I think that's safe to say. We'll see. But for me, I had a terrifying, traumatic experience with a bug this week. No joke.
Before you tell me the story, I want to remind you of where I come from.
Yes, I know.
And go.
So first of all, I don't care I will rip up my man card into tiny little pieces. I don't care. As long as I'm away from bugs, I'll literally do almost anything. So I decided it was like 3:00 in the morning, and I was like, you know what? I'm so hungry right now. Where do I want to go? I want to go to Jack in the Box to go get some dollar tacos. $1.18.
Right, so they're a Mexican restaurant, or they do like everything?
Oh, you don't know Jack in the Box?
We don't have Jack in the Box.
Oh wow, I thought that was over there. Yeah, Jack in the Box is basically like a 24-hour place. It's like you can get everything. It has, it has egg rolls. It has, I think ours is even quesadillas.
So it's kind of like
transcends it. Yeah, exactly. It transcends genre of food.
Right.
So, but they have this deal for 2 tacos for $1.18, and that's my jam. So,
man, there's no way there's real meat in tacos that cost 50 cents.
I've learned to not question things I don't want the answers to. All I know is that you get a taco, there's something in it that tastes delicious, and it's deep fried. It tastes amazing. So I get that. So anyways, yeah, no. I go over there, drive over there. It's 3:00 in the morning. I lower the window of my car, and then all of a sudden, like the second I lower it, a June bug flies in. Now, do you know what June bugs are?
I don't think I do.
Or at least we call them June bugs. That's probably ignorant of me to call them June bugs because everyone's like has different names for them.
Right.
My girlfriend says over there they're called like machacata or something like that, something ridiculous. But they're basically these like beetle-like bugs that come around during this time of the year. They're probably, I want to say like a little bigger than a quarter. They're fairly large, and they fly, and they're super clumsy. They always fly into things, but they make a sound that's just terrifying whenever they fly.
Yeah, it's like a clicking sound.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I think so. Whenever I think about the sound, all I can think about is me screaming at the same time. Like, so I don't really know. That tends to cover it up. But basically, yeah, the second I lowered my window, one flew in, and I was in front of the window to pay at this point in the drive-thru. And so the woman's looking at me like I'm crazy because I took off my hat and I'm flinging my hat around because this thing's flying around. I have no idea where it is. And so I'm just like doing anything I can. Finally, it lands on the dashboard far away from me, like on the furthest end of the dashboard. And I'm freaking out. My adrenaline is pumping like crazy. And I get my food from the woman. I'm like, she doesn't know what's going on. She thinks I'm crazy. And I just quickly get my food. I'm driving over to the front of the store, and I'm like, oh shit, because I'm like, all right, I got to get this bug out because I'm gonna kill myself if I can't get this bug out. And but then I'm like, oh shit, there's probably more here, so I'm gonna wait till I get back to my apartment where I can get to my like private parking garage area where I know that there's not any bugs. So I go there. I'm driving like 2 miles an hour because I don't want to just disturb this thing because it seems content just sitting on my dashboard far away from me.
Right.
And I have my hat out still ready to go so I can swat if I need to. Eventually, park. As I park, this thing starts moving along the dashboard, and it goes to like a vent in the center of the dashboard. And it basically, I get out at this point, I'm trying to check it, and I can't find it anymore. It went into the vent of my car. So now it lives inside of my car. I mean, hopefully it's dead by now, but I'm afraid it's laid its little babies. And that I'm convinced it's going to come through. I don't know where that vent led to. I'm assuming something with the air conditioning. So I'm afraid it's going to fling like babies at me at some point through my air conditioning.
Those kind of beetles aren't really good at crawling through those sort of vents, though. You should be fine. Because we have something that's in a similar family in Australia, and we call it a Christmas beetle, because they tend to show up around December.
A Christmas beetle?
Yeah, because that's summertime for us. So I'm assuming that this is probably a summer beetle for you guys. So anyway, I don't think we need to go down the different genus of various bugs that make you poop your pants for innocuous reasons when they're completely harmless. Like Australian kids pick these things up all the time.
That's fucking gross.
Yeah. Well, you should later on when you get some time, Google rhinoceros or elephant beetles, and they're the big boys that we get. That if they actually do get your finger in these big giant pincer things, it looks like a Pokemon. They freaking hurt, man. They don't harm you permanently, but they just freaking hurt.
Dude, and do they they're flying around freely in residential areas and things like that?
Not necessarily like super residential. The typing here in the background is me getting a photo to send through to Hebrew, by the way. Yeah. Elephant beetle, I think it's a rhino beetle, is the one that we get more.
Oh, God.
Yes, this is it. Oh, God, these things are just gross, man.
Send it over. I want to see it.
Yep. Sending it through to you right now. So this is a video of these things.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So
what is
this and the elephant beetle. Yeah, exactly. It's like a dinosaur.
No.
But yeah, they had like these big things. But yeah, I think it might be, I don't know if this one or the elephant one, that they get like another one of those horns and they clamp them together like giant teeth.
Oh my God. This is
Yeah,
terrible.
so they're huge. Yeah, so yeah, F your beetle, son. Australia wins this battle again.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's so amazing comparing Australia and New Zealand, man, because we're so close together. We have like all the animals that can kill you. New Zealand, there's like no animals that can harm you.
Oh God, I need to move to New Zealand. What am I doing?
New Zealand doesn't have snakes. They don't have any of the big spiders. Like, it's just, things that'll mildly irritate you. I think like mosquitoes are probably the biggest threat bug over there.
Oh my God, I have to move to New Zealand because
Yeah, I think you dig it.
Whew. Yeah, I'm gonna probably have to do it. Plus, I love the accent over there. Everyone just sounds so nice. So, yeah, I probably might have to do that.
I can tell you from going to quite a few pubs, that's definitely not the case.
All right, well, that'll do that for now. It's probably people are probably yelling at me to keep moving on. They don't want to hear me complain about bugs anymore. So let's go ahead and move it on. Let's do a quick have you done anything special this week? What's up with you?
In the game? No, not really, man. I've been quite discouraged from the game at the moment. I'm excited to get my teeth stuck into Ultima 7. I'm sure that excitement will quickly pivot to frustration because I have a feeling that Ultima 7 is going to be the same as Ultima 6 when it came out, that we won't have all the pieces that we need to defeat it unless you're willing to claw your way to the finish line. I think it'll be a level 75 required. They'll frustrate the community into like investing all their resources now, and then we'll get a level cap increase where the gold required will be ridiculous. So yeah, at the moment I'm not enjoying the game anywhere near as much as I was a few months ago. And I thought X-Men would get me excited, but just considering how long it's going to take to farm those characters up to being a fully functional team, because I didn't roll too well in some of the events. I'm rocking 5 stars Colossus. I got 6 stars on Psylocke, which is nice. But in this day and age, man, if you're not rocking 6 or 7 reds on things in arena or war, sometimes
it doesn't matter. Yeah, exactly. Not to mention the unique blockage that we're going to have with him.
Yeah, well, that's a fair point. I mean, I have had a surprising amount of them show up. Like, since they added them into the gold supply store, they have been more reliable. But as always, when things aren't very, very repeatable in the store and unreliable, and it's literally RNG, and you don't have like a loser-based reward system, which a lot of games like this have, where, they sort of go, do you know what? This guy has been really screwed over by the odds for quite a long time now. We're going to trigger like a double proc mechanic to sort of balance out the crappy rolls. Like, a lot of games have that now, especially loot box games on consoles. Mobile, it's a bit rarer because mobile, they seem to be the most cowboy when it comes to doubling down on the gambling loot boxes, for sure.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, and that's one of the problems with me too. Like I was really excited for X-Men. Would have been more excited with Gambit, of course, but they missed out on a golden opportunity. But it definitely kind of took away from it after all the controversy of everything, and once again, like, you know, having that that unique blockage, and really hurts sometimes, I gotta say. But, you know, at least it's gonna be, I don't know, at least it's a team that I'm excited to at least try, you know? It isn't like a team that I haven't really heard of, that I don't care about. X-Men is X-Men. It'll be fun to play regardless, you know? We'll see what happens with that.
And it's seeing the proof in the pudding as well, mate. Like, I mean, a lot of the claims that have been made in blog posts over the last year have just turned out to be not true, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like saying, oh, we'll never do this again. And then like 4 months later, you're like, but you did do it again. Yeah, we meant it at the time, but like the world's kind of moved on since then. So that was a different guy in charge. Don't worry. It's, you know, he didn't know what he was talking about. So, you know, the claims about Spider-Verse being a meta team didn't happen. I mean, they don't even reliably kill the team that they were meant to kill. I mean, they can kill them, absolutely. But RNG can really screw Spider-Verse versus S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes.
Wakandans were about to find out if they told us the truth or not, you know, by saying they are going to be the premier raid team. They didn't just say they would be a good team.
Yeah.
They said the premier. So if they're not the meta in Ultima 7, I'm going to consider that a broken promise for sure. And
expensive broken promise, too.
Well, that's the thing, because Wakanda, without a very, very, very significant amount of T4s, is not the team that it should be.
Exactly.
You know, we put out an initial list over on Masters of Launch, which Piker and I worked on for a while, which basically said these are our recommended T4s, because we always try and go like a minimal effective spend when we do those guides, saying this is the bare T4s. If you put those in, the team's going to hum. Of course, more is good, but these are the essentials. And, you know, they made sense on paper at the time, but now when you actually look at it, I think you need everything of Killmonger's except the basic, which I made a mistake on, because it should be the best, and when it does proc, it definitely is. The problem is it barely ever procs.
Right.
Yeah. When it does, man, you can one-shot so many characters from full health.
Yeah.
But it's just not reliable. So, yeah, I think you need probably 2 into Okoye, which I wouldn't have picked at the time. You know, her buff strip, the focus, they really kind of force you to take that, because her buff strips are so unreliable without it. But I would say that team needs like a minimum of like 8 T4s, probably higher, to be effective.
Do you think that's going to be like kind of the standard moving forward, where you're just going to need huge T4 investments in order to make a team hum, as you said?
Well, I guess we're going to know for sure once we see what the rewards are going to be for the permanent Ultima 7. Not what we're going to see tomorrow or the day after, but once we start seeing the permanent. So if we're seeing that they're handing out orange mats like candy, then yes, I think that'll be the case. I think that you will absolutely need it. You know, I've seen various leaked data mines that when I go through it, there's no proof there. But, you know, there's anything saying that it could be as high as like, you know, 20 to 25 a day. Now, there's no truth to that as far as I know, but if it was that many per day, that could mean a new T4, you know, every week and a half, 2 weeks, on top of what you're already getting. So, yeah, I mean, if they're going to give them out that readily, if it does go down that road, I think you're going to find that T4s are going to be like, well, you're getting so much of the currency. It's like the old purple ones, right? That you just expected that you would go that high. And then I think you'll find that, you know, they might even start looking at T5s or Zeta style abilities.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that it's always been my theory for a while now that that's what's going to happen, because it always seems like that's their trend. Whenever they try something new, especially if it's more like where you have to spend more money to do something, and people are like, of course, at first they're like, oh, why do we have to do this, whatever. But then people kind of normalize to it, and then you see it become like the standard thing. Like with campaign events and stuff like that, with like the drops for campaign events, once they started doing the, you know, oh, it's a mix of characters now. Now it's always a mix of characters instead of just that character. That's kind of like their MO. So I have a feeling that with this, it's going to be become fairly normal now to need a heavy T4 investment in a team in order to get them to that place where they at least claim they're going to be.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair. I mean, this game has always been, but I think it's gotten worse since Alliance War came out. That, you know, they've been rewarding T4 mats to the top 3 to 4 alliances for so long, and been getting more and more and more and more, while the rest of us sort of deal with RNG or, you know, just not being able to compete at that level. That, remember that they tune everything to those guys. Like, they say that they don't, but, you know, events requiring 4 red stars on everything, like we're about to see, is just next level crazy. And that's
Right.
who they're tuning it to. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, yeah, whether you agree with it or not,
that's the reality.
I think you're right. And that's going to be the way it goes forward. And then they'll probably start some sort of new currency that is locked behind 100%. Like, I'm expecting that this event we're about to walk into is going to be probably only giving the really high rewards to the 100% of Ultima 7 to sort of force those guys in those top alliance to spend some cash, while the rest of us are just going to probably... I mean, our alliance normally is a top 10 to 15. Like, when we actually try, and we usually back off like 2 or 3 days at the end of a season, but when we actually try, we're a top 10 rate alliance, right? We bat well above our old CP, although we're top 20 in CP because of a couple of new recruits.
Right.
But, yeah, when we see ludicrous things like that, we don't ask our guys to spend because... You know, we carry a couple of guys because they're just legends of dudes, right? We just love them.
Right.
You know, they're only floating around the 2 million CP while a lot of us are over 3. But because they're reliable, they show up, they're good dudes, we're like, it's worth it. You know, we're more than happy to do our share for those guys. Where, you know, the top alliances, they're just ruthless. It's like spend or GTFO, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think that they're about to see... I mean, Foxnex is about to make a lot of money because one of the things... that, I mean, I guess we'll just go ahead and get into it right now, but the new Ultimus, the first strike thing, they're doing now, from what we found from the last blog post, the first 3 victories, the first alliance to do 3 victories, 100%, they're going to be immortalized in some way.
I just don't know why they even bother with these competitions. Like, it's going to be Legion. Or do you know what, though? Pants of Hulk, credit to them. I really like a lot of the guys over there. Like, we've had a lot of their guys that have listened and, like, reached out to try and help. They've just got some truly cool dudes.
Right.
You know, they're actively trying to help the community, not the other way around. So, I genuinely hope they get it. I really, really do. Those dudes are cool. And let me tell you a little story.
Sure.
I'm going to tell it tomorrow on our podcast anyway.
Yeah.
But... I was talking to a couple of the alliances that are like, they're not like us. Like, they don't just see Legion of Cabal and just go, all right, guys, I guess we'll take the day off. We'll save our currency for tomorrow.
Right.
There's a couple of alliances that they want to take Pants of Hulk down. Not Pants of Hulk. They want to take Legion of Cabal down from the number 1 spot.
Right.
But when you look at it on paper, because of the benefits that they've got in AW, that just for your CP when a war is over, like, they could arguably win, like, I think it's... They could lose 4 wars in a single season and still get top spot.
Yeah.
Just because of their CP
that
advantage.
Percentage CP.
Like, we got matched with them the other day, and they are 51 million above us, and we're in number 20th spot. So 19 spots between us and them, and there's 51 million character power.
That's
it's just
so
crazy,
ridiculous.
So, they just should put them on a different thing. If they want to keep getting rewards, fine, but you can't have a competitive game like this and have fed... It's like a game of League of Legends, man. If you feed their like AC or AD early in the game,
their ADC,
it's over. There is nothing you can do about it. Nothing. And that's unfortunately where we're at now for things like competitive game modes. Like, there are guys in there in Arena that, you know, they're counterable by probably their other colleagues and maybe some of the top 3, but not anyone else. But Alliance War, forget about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's still worse than... I mean, great analogy. You know, I love that analogy. But at least in League of Legends, it's incredibly difficult to come back from something like that. But at least it's still possible. Here, it's not possible.
Yeah.
You're literally, like, it's done. They've locked it in. They can drop the mic and walk away. Easy. So...
Yeah, they could literally log off for 4 wars and still place.
Exactly. So yeah, and it's unfortunate though. Always the rich get richer, but you know, that's what we signed up for. That's this game. But I think that, you know, it's weird that, or it's not weird, but I suppose it's true of form for Fox Next to make a quote-unquote competition like this where they do like the first alliances to get 3 100% victories, just because I know they're just expecting everyone to drop so much money on this on the top-end alliances.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see whether they need to, because
the gap's already so big.
Remember Into the Darkness? Well, exactly. I mean, they've got every character farmed. Like, I mean, I lost 2 members of my Shield team, my biggest team, which I've never been blessed with 6 or 7s on any meta characters, unfortunately, with red stars. I lost 2 of my characters attacking an AIM team on offense against Legion of Cabal. And I barely won. Like, it is ludicrous, because I think the guy's AIM team was like 367k, I think was in my notes from a couple of weeks ago. And I was like, what's the point? You know, there's them, and there's a top 9 alliance, which we've come up against twice. They're actually quite good dudes, but their CP gap is just too big for us to take. We got within 1 room this war, which was good for our guys, but he has a 416k shield team.
Jesus. Mike,
yeah, last war it
that.
Screwed us. Last war it screwed us. We couldn't beat it. And then this war, we were ready for it. We went straight for that room early, and we took it down. Yeah, one of our guys is there's a few guys that are very, very, very good at punching up, and they're Ultron killers, like Geronimo and Obi, Chewie, Badger. Like, those guys in our alliance are unbelievable.
Right. Man, that is crazy. Just hearing those numbers and the thought of playing against them, my God, that's terrifying to someone like me. Jesus, those numbers are just too big.
When we rebranded and we sort of cut a few players and we brought in some guys that we wanted to play with for a while, as soon as we hit that, top 25 in CP, it was over. Like, our wars have just been nightmarish, and now we're having chats as captains going, look, if we see more than a 3 million CP, unless we get such a massive lead in the first 8 hours,
just save resources.
And we're confident we can board clear, just save resources. Yeah. Because it was heartbreaking for us that we had, like, almost everyone had 10 or above attacks. Everyone maxed their boosts. Like, everyone spent all the currency they had in this last war. We lost by 1 room. No, actually less than that, like half a room. They board cleared us with about an hour to go. Like, we really pushed that number 9 alliance to their limit. Our guys did us proud.
Right.
But that only got us 1,500 points on the leaderboard, and we shot back to 549th place.
Oh, there's nothing more demoralizing than that. Like, that's terribly demoralizing.
What's the point?
Yeah.
It was a war that with a 9 mil CP disadvantage, we were really never going to win. And I think we just shocked them with what we brought to the table this time. Like, I can't say we, because I did F all. I had a horrible war. Right. But our guys really, really, really knocked it out of the park. They really did.
Yeah.
And we got nothing to show for it. Yep. And unfortunately, as long as we're there and getting those matchups, we're going to consistently get screwed. And eventually that's going to make us worse, because while the alliances around us that are below us on CP getting better matchups, they're going to get more orange mats than us. And if what you and I were theory crafting a few minutes ago to bring it back to our original point, then eventually that's going to give them an advantage, because we might have similar CP, but they might have T4 abilities on characters that hide the fact that they're going to hit something for like an extra 60%.
Right, exactly. Oh, man. And that's the problem. Like, a lot of people lower, like, at my area too and below, we don't really get, I mean, we certainly have bad wars, but it isn't anything like what the top end deals with. Not necessarily like the top like 2 or whatever, but like, the top probably like 5% or so. They really deal with terrible matchups in war. Like, the matchmaking system is just garbage, because you have the higher you go, the bigger you have the gaps between alliances. And so being matched up with them, it just gets horrible. And then you get these futile things where it's like you don't even want to play, but you kind of have to. So I can't even imagine. I'm glad that I'm not in your situation, because at least for us, like, we win, I think, probably 70% of our wars. So we were when we were Sigma, but as soon as we got some other big hitters, and we only jumped up about like 6 mil, I think, in CP, because I remember doing the maths one day. We're like nearly 60th,
and we said it only took about 5 or 6 mil for us to get into the top 20, but then we need like another 50 to get to number 1. And just talking about how that, if that doesn't display how broken it is, nothing will.
Exactly, yeah.
So, yeah, it was, as far as Alliance War went, yeah, so I mean, I actually advised our guys a little while ago, Alliance War is out of our control. So there is no point like making your priority farms for this game things like power armor. Because they're a fantastic team. They destroy. They can do really well in arena offense as well. But in Alliance War, they're gods. Like, they can pretty much kill everything. I haven't seen anything CP for CP that they haven't been able to kill reliably.
Right.
The problem is, it's a couple times a week. And in our case, it's like, well, less than 50% of the time, we're actually going to be able to get a match that's even worth fighting. So you're better off just putting everything into raid teams. That's what I've told our guys. It's like, look, you can farm those AW teams. I'm all for it, but I don't want you to get disheartened when we lose, because unfortunately there is nothing we can do about that at all.
Exactly. Yeah. It's come down to it. There's really only so much you can do whenever you're fighting against raw CP differences like what you are. But
yeah. And that's probably the thing I hate the most about this game, to be honest, is other games, if you unlock a meta team, it's the meta team. Like, and eventually everyone gets to the same point. Like, Galaxy of Heroes, yes, mods made a difference, but you could play around it.
Yeah.
I got a little bit excited for a little while when the Elite Red Star rework happened, but it's still garbage. And unfortunately, even with that new system, you are not guaranteed what you need to get to be competitive. And then, you know, when I come up against a team that has like, you know, 4 out of the 5 characters I'm going up against are above 6 stars, it's over. Like, I took a Defenders team that had 20k CP advantage on a Kree team.
Right.
And I didn't kill anyone because they had a 7 red star cyborg. Nothing I could do about it.
Wow. Yeah.
I despise the fact that gambling and RNG has changed the definition of this game, and you're not even guaranteed an advantage as a pay-to-win player. Like, you know, it bothers me more now than it has since they first introduced red stars. I'm really struggling to get good with it, to be honest.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, this is something you and I have talked about at length, you know, all the time. But yeah, it's red stars. I don't want to bitch about red stars for like 20 minutes, although I easily could. But yeah, I mean, just the ability of the game to basically deny everything that you've done so far as creating your meta teams, getting everyone in order that you want, can just be completely undone by a 7-star drop on a crap character is annoying and terrible and everything. Like,
when it's game breaking, like a 7-star on a meta character, like a meta character, and then you can't shut it down. Like, if you get it on a rocket, or even a Drax is actually a really tough one you don't want to go up against, because he just holds on to his taunt. Like, you need a JJ or like an Archer to have any chance of even ripping that taunt off him, because if you don't, Menardians can do whatever the hell they want if you cannot take that taunt away. Exactly,
yeah. Because, oh man, Drax is getting more and more annoying for those teams, exactly, because Menardians are just the terrible plague that I see. I mean, I'm sure they're fun to play. They really are a lot of fun to play, but playing against them is absolutely terrible.
And I think that's why my frustration's back with Red Stars, because, you know, it's a competitive game mode. It matters because the currency is very valuable. Like, literally everything that you want to be able to get for progression is, other than character, well, actually, no, some character shards, is in those stores. And more importantly, for the seasons, the leaderboards. And when people have simply, you know, rolled either more than you, and I'd say there's a lot of people that have way, way, way better single team power than myself, and I would have bought more than them. Purely because it's RNG. I hate in-game metas defined by gambling. Yeah. Because what's the point? That's not competitive. That's just who got really, really lucky. Luck. And then screw gameplay. Everything, there should be a point where it's a level playing field at the top. Like, there should be a peak. There should be a pinnacle. I've said it on our podcast many times. I've said it in my videos many times. It's why I love Ultron the most as an idea of a character. Oh yeah, he's overpowered. He can be shut down, like when you know the right strategy, and ability block is the best strategy where you can pull it off. He's very counterable. However, everyone's Ultron is the same. Yeah. Everyone's. That's great what I love about it. That's what I love about it. That's the way endgame progression should be. I've been getting really back on the anti-Red Stars campaign recently because
it's making more of an impact than ever. Yeah.
We look at it now. There are players with a dozen 7-star Red Stars in some cases, and I still have 0. So for my own account, as someone who supported this game for a long time, both financially and obviously doing content, it's really hard to feel rewarded for any of that when it doesn't matter. Like someone who basically started playing yesterday could be at level. When does it unlock? Level 52?
I want to say 55, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, like they could roll a 7-star Phoenix today, and then they might not have the advantage on Phoenix first unlock, but eventually that guy's going to come in and whoop my butt.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a huge problem. Just invalidating people's expenses on what they've, especially whenever it first came out. I mean, I still have problems with that. Like whenever it first came out, it really basically just gave the middle finger to anyone that's been spending a lot of money on this game because of the exact reasons that you just said. But at least now, like you've made the investment and you're still aware of, the repercussions of potentially someone pulling a random Red Star. But man, before, whenever it first came out, you didn't even know about that being a potential option, and people just coming out of the woodwork.
On paper, we knew. Like our Foxnext guy at the time, I won't say his name, but the contact I had at the time, I actually really feel sorry for him because, man, the private chats that we had, it just felt like I was dumping on this guy on a daily basis. Like it just felt like I'd wake up, see some nonsense, and just go, you guys have created this. And you can sit there and tell us that you're not going to base game mechanics around it, but I don't believe you. Because if you introduce this mechanic, you're going to have to. Because if you don't, the top end is going to find everything too easy, and the bottom end is going to find everything, manageable.
Yeah.
So the writing was on the wall for a long time, and I think now's the time they've been out long enough, and Alliance War is a mode that really exposes that Red Stars can just create... They can define a war. Like that one shield team in that first war, because we didn't strategize for it. We burst some of our other teams before we found that room. The war was over because of one 416k shield team. Because we just could not
just
kill
can't
it.
break the brick wall.
Well, boosted, the blinds don't land, right? Yeah. Because they're all 6 and 7 Red Stars, nothing hits.
Right, resistance too high.
It's super frustrating. Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. Without going too much, because we could talk about that all day, let's go ahead and move on to something a little nicer. Which, by the way, I do want to mention this first of all. Anyone that's listening right now, I got a 7-star drop. I got a 7 Red Star drop, everyone. Guess what? It was...
I heard Dorian's really jealous.
He is incredibly jealous because I got Scientist Supreme. I got one of the biggest middle fingers right to my face. I think there's like one team, like with Psylocke. If I paired her with Psylocke, granted I don't have a high Psylocke, so I'm not going to be able to do this, but maybe one day I could potentially have a little something. Like I think that she has a place, but she's certainly not great, and she certainly doesn't have a great place at all. Like she's kind of a trash character otherwise. But yeah, I'm not happy about the 7. My first 7 Red Star being Scientist Supreme. I really feel like that's a middle finger. So, but it's better than nothing. It could have been worse. Though. Yes,
I think if you had pulled that like 3 or 4 months ago, when the debuff heavy metas really started, that actually could have been something you could have been really irritating with in an Alliance War defense because. They're going to open with, a Brotherhood blind, and you can just go, nope, and, it'll automatically do that turn 1 and just flip it. And then whoever's team you put that on can just open up, So like as a random heal option in a Menardian's team or an Ultron defense, my God, an Ultron defense, that could have been super bad.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
Now we're in the cleanse meta, which is coming with X-Men. So I think you've missed the boat. So not only have they given you that too late, it's now, going to be pretty garbage.
Yeah, it's just also like even superficially, it's just like Scientist Supreme. I get Scientist Supreme. I don't know. She's kind of like, the poster child for the shittiest team in this game. So,
it would have been more poetic if you had Vision though.
Oh, I know. I thank God every day I did not get a Vision.
If you got it, seeing how amazing he would be in that power armor team,
He would be
with
so
7 red
good.
stars, would you seriously not level him just out of spite?
No. All right, people might think I'm lying, but I am an incredibly stubborn person, and whenever I say that like I'm not going to do something, I will genuinely not do it at all costs. So
Just double down.
Yeah, so I would not do it. I would let him rot at where he was. I did have I think I told you this before, but I did have one of my buddies take my phone. He wanted to look at my roster, he said, because he used to play. And then he started leveling up Vision a bit. And yeah, I mean, it's still nothing useful at all because I caught him whenever he's doing it. But yeah, he was pumping stuff into Vision. I actually messaged support and asked them to re-roll my progress on it. They wouldn't. They thought I was a crazy person.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry. Yeah, Vision's a great character. We don't understand why you're filing this ticket.
Exactly. I was like, no, I want all progress on him to be brought back.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts, man.
But anyways, all right, well, let's go ahead and talk about, let's do the new milestone rewards. Are you excited for the new milestone rewards?
I am not.
Really? Why is that?
You're talking about the Unity event?
Oh, no. I'm talking about the new milestone rewards with, like, them having the T4 ability mats, the orange gear fragments, and stuff like that, taking over for Miss Marvel's milestones.
I don't know that I've seen this one. Whereabouts is... can you read out for me where you're reading this?
Sure. 1 second.
Is this the one that's for Ultima 7, you mean, or...
So no, it's... let me just go ahead and read it. It will illuminate you. Milestone rewards are losing a familiar face and gaining a new reward structure next week. Here are the new rewards that'll be available by hitting milestones. New milestone orb fragments, power cores, advanced basic catalyst parts, orange gear orb fragments, T4 orange ability materials. This means that Captain Marvel's run as part of the milestone rewards is ending soon, but the Supernova superhero isn't gone just yet. Continue earning milestones points by collecting her character shards before she leaves. The new recurring milestone rewards will have a limited time run until character shards make their own return to milestone rewards sometimes in the future. But yeah, so basically they're coming in milestones, new milestones.
So with that, I mean, obviously, I'm a big proponent of, like, free rewards are good rewards. And I think that the Captain Marvel has added so much into the economy of the game that it really shouldn't be belittled as to how much that's actually added to our currency. It was something I was actually a little bit nervous about recently, like sort of saying, man, it's a couple of cores every week. And like premium orbs and mega orbs and, even orange orbs in some sense, let alone getting a good character in Captain Marvel.
Oh, yeah.
So I see all that. And with that going, so I'm glad they had something to replace it. Until I see the tiers, I don't really want to comment, to be honest, because the amount of milestones, we've looked at it on paper and just gone, this is awesome. And then you look at it and you just go, this is not achievable for anything but a Kraken, and just being not worth it. If it's at a similar tier of reward structure to what they have for Captain Marvel, I love it. I think it's great if they do, because you've got good balance for free to play. I mean, you look at guys that are free to play like Roy. You know, he's, I think, going to get a 6-star by the time this event is done, because he was spending his gold every day, whereas I've been hoarding mine, waiting to see which way I'm going to dump. From, whether it's, like Wakanda for raid or, the Phoenix unlock team and then Phoenix if, that smells good.
Right.
So, I mean, for guys like that can get a 6-star, really, really quite good character, from that every day, I think that's incredible. And if they're offering something similar to that, and then the Krakens, of course, if you're really spent every day, I don't know if they could get a 7-star, but I'm sure it's possible. Yeah,
well, let me go ahead and throw in something a little more too, because I should have read this part out as well. But so as I mentioned, one of the things is new milestone orb fragments. And did you read about the new milestone orbs at all, or no?
I'm not going to lie. I usually do all my research for the week the night of the podcast.
Yeah, I feel you.
This week, because I haven't done much in the way of the game, I've really been out of the loop.
All right, so
I'll normally be doing this in about 12 hours from now.
right. So
Tell me your stories.
for this one. Gather around the campfire, children. I should have said stay a while and listen. What am I doing? You're better than.
Well, come on. Now you need to do the impression.
Stay a while and listen. That's pretty good, right?
It's probably more Gandalf-y, I think.
It was a little more Gandalf. You do it. Deckard Cain. Go.
Stay a while and listen.
That sounded.
That wasn't very good, actually. That was more Bane.
Just the same. That actually was. Yeah.
That's what I get.
Sounded just like him. All right.
That's because I heard you do it. I've gone off. All right. What we'll do is we'll practice and we'll come back.
All right. All right. But so this is what the milestone orb is. The center pillar rewards up to 10 character shards, with Captain Marvel as a featured character and dropping at a 9 times higher rate than other characters. The second pillar contains orb fragments and Elite Four currency. Oops. Cursor again.
So we can still keep unlocking Captain Marvel?
Yeah, you have a chance to keep unlocking Captain Marvel, yeah.
Okay.
And the third pillar includes blue, purple, and orange gear. So it sounds like basically you're going to get Elite Four currency, a chance of character shards with Captain Marvel being the premier, and then gear potential. I'm sorry, what was it? No, yeah, gear potential for the other pillar, which goes anywhere from blue to orange. Mm-hmm. So kind of a culmination of things that we need.
Yeah, I mean, sounds good. I mean, 9 times higher rate until I see the base rate.
Yeah.
Again, no comment, because 10 times higher than 0.0001 is still an incredibly small chance of something happening. And the reason why, one of our topics we're talking about shortly, I think the Unity event is very, very disappointing.
Yeah, we can't ask for a better segue than that. So let's go ahead and talk about that Unity event. Now, you have expressed that you do not like the Unity event. Why is that?
I more so don't like the way that the unlock campaigns for new characters have been progressing. I think that, since Minerva, we've just been seeing things getting significantly worse. That you're seeing, free-to-play players, if you are very quite bad on the rolls that you get from some of these orbs, you may not even unlock the character that was intended. Whereas every other game like this that's smart, they sort of give you a taste. Like, they might give you like a 2-star unlock or a 3-star unlock for free. Like, everyone gets it with like a marquee style event, which they have in games like Galaxy of Heroes. Whereas this game, it's getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And whenever they're a meta-defining character, which sometimes you don't know until it's too late. Yeah. Minerva, I think, caught some people by surprise. And then now with how easy Minerva made Fear the Darkness, anyone that doesn't have Minerva is going to take a lot longer to be able to clear that. And for free-to-play players, like, Ultron was kind of the grail. It was if you really looked at it, it was the most free-to-play, like, alpha-level character that you're going to see.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
But now that they've got the chances of you getting this character is so low, and they can say it's higher than all the others, but it's like basically saying, a post-Mexican meal poop is like, 10 times more rank than, you just having a steak dinner. At the end of the day, they're both poop, right? It doesn't really matter. So it bothers me, the absolute lack of drops, and more consistently that every time these campaign orbs are getting worse and worse and worse. And what's been going along with it, and this is the really crazy thing, is that Jeff, the Offers guy, who is a really regular guest on Strike Force Masters and Launch podcast, from Foxnet, let's just say that. He's not a real person. He's a
okay. I was about to say, I was like, how do I not know who this is?
No. No, Jeff the Offers guy is a running joke on our community. That, like, every time there's a major issue, Jeff the Offers guy doesn't understand what decimal points are, right? He's just like, yeah, 200 definitely seems right. It couldn't be 20. That's Jeff the Offers guy.
Right.
So, I just see it getting worse and worse and worse, and it's not encouraging whatsoever. So, when you see these offers, this is the point I was trying to make. I apologize.
You're good.
The Offers guy distracted me. Let me just send him out of the room. Now, get out. Yeah. So, in Australian currency, when the Psylocke character came to the game, there was the packs to buy her up front, right? So you could pay. It was $38.99 Australian. you could buy orbs that guaranteed you Psylocke shards.
Right.
Just as they've always been.
Yeah.
What really bothers me is that was the first event, and we've now sort of seeing it again now, that for those orbs that have such a small chance of giving a lot of her, they're also $38.99 for the Psylocke orbs from that campaign. Like, it's the same price, and yet 2 days before, you, for that same money, got 100% of the thing that you wanted to buy. So they've really just loot boxed the bejesus out of these items in a way that I didn't like.
Oh, yeah.
When that was for Psylocke.
Right.
When it comes to America Chavez, we're talking about a whole new level.
Well, let me ask you.
Have you actually looked at them?
Yeah, I have a bit, but let me tell you this also. Does it affect your opinion on this at all, though, that she is having a blitz come?
No, because I mean, you look at it. So this is something else that I've really been frustrated with the game recently. So I mean, I am someone that when I log in and do my work, I'm a top 100 blitz player, right? But I despise every time I have to do it.
Oh, of course.
Because it's not fun. It's not fun. Like, the time required. I've actually got some notes that I'm going to show in an upcoming video of how many logins and how much time spent does it take to be a top 100 blitz player. And I can tell you now, it's not good.
Oh, yeah. I bet. I honestly don't want to see the number of hours it takes.
Oh, no. I promise you that you don't.
Yeah.
And it's definitely, I'm glad my wife doesn't listen, because if she actually realized, like, sneaking away for 20 minutes here and there every 2 hours is one of those things. And obviously, since I started doing the podcast, and I have to explain to, like, our friends when we go home, when it's like, sorry guys, I have to play this game. I'm not being rude. It's just that I have to play this because us doing this and then recording a podcast means we have an opportunity to, you know, get a little bit more money for my daughter coming up. Like, I'm actually doing this for our future. I know it seems weird because it's a video game, blah, blah, blah. You know, all that social interruption for one, you know, the fact we know there are some hardcore people that are like setting alarms and disrupting their sleep patterns for it does not promote good health, which is something I'm trying to be better at as well. I've never done that myself personally. But it's just insane. And when I have a kid, as well as all the other projects that you and I are working on, and a full-time job, mate, Blitz is going to have to be the first thing to go. So what bothers me about that is for every guy that's already in that situation where they do not have enough time to be able to do this, or they do not have the rosters, now that you need 8.5 million to get top 1500 for a Blitz, or you're needing 14 million to get first round top 100 for a meta character like one of the X-Men. It's just not achievable for so many people. So then you break it down. All right. So for a free to play player, let's say they did scratch into the top 1500.
Right.
What do they walk away with if they rolled nothing from the campaign? They walk away with what, 85 shards plus milestones is 100. So what's that? A 3-star unlock?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep. And then they don't make the 1500 on the next blitz. Let's say, you know, worst case scenario, they get nothing because that's locked under the mega orbs barrier.
Exactly. Which are now just useless.
Oh, exactly. So because of red stars, your potential is so screwed if you don't go in. So I look at it up front, and let's say I did go hard this time around and I went for top 100 in both. That means I'm looking at 110 and 110 for the both of them, so that's 220 shards on a character that I'm not going to put gear into. Let's say for America Chavez, for example.
Right.
That's 220, and then you get 21 shards for the long on, so that's 220, 262, right?
Right.
262 shards. So what's that? Is that a 4-star or just scraping into a 5? I want to say it's 4.
I want to say it's
only.
4, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, let's say that then I've got like a 6 red star roll, or just something went my way. Doesn't matter. There's nothing I can really do with her, because red stars have defined the game in a way that if you don't have at least yellow stars to then be able to utilize a moderate roll, and I mean moderate, on these new characters, it doesn't matter. So you don't even have a fully functionable, usable character. Then let's say they decide to make hero brawlers the next unlock for something, because they know that not everyone has Miss Marvel. They know that not everyone has... actually, no, there's probably enough brawlers. That's a bad example. But let's say they said you needed America Chavez. There's been no way to farm her. You didn't get any boost from the campaigns unless you got really lucky. And that's what this keeps coming back to.
Right.
This game is getting more and more and more loot boxy than it's ever been. And I just don't like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's only going to get worse with time, too, because as we've seen, I mean, first of all, blitz scores, I mean, even if it affects all facets of the game, Red Stars, obviously, but with blitz especially, you know, whenever they made that original shift to the timing, the big timing difference, what was it before, 6 hours?
So was it 6 or 4?
It was 6. It was so good. Do you remember
6.
that?
I know.
Oh, so
I agree.
good. But I whenever I made the switch to 6 out from 6 hours to 2, people were like, whenever I was like, well, the scores are just going to be so crazy, you know, because you're going to be hitting so much more often. And then later on, as the game progresses, you're going to have all these big hitter teams, and they're going to be even worse. And then whenever you compound the fact that you're going to have expanding rosters and bigger teams, and you're going to have to account for Red Star spikes on those teams that are being able to pull in more per fight, man, it just gets crazy. Like the gap just keeps widening between people and what Red Stars can really bring to the
I want you to
table.
think about this. So let's say in a couple of weeks we now have an X-Men team. So there's enough split up X-Men characters that you've got another 5 characters together that you can inject to be a functional Blitz team.
Right.
And they're probably going to be such a reliable win team, I would imagine, for Blitz at least, that even at like 5, it's no 5 stars. Of course, it has to be 6 with the Phoenix now. Even at 6 stars, I think they'll be effective. So let's say you've got that, okay?
Yeah.
So that means one more team. Let's say that they're such an effective team, none of their battles go above 2.5 minutes per blitz when they fight.
Right.
Okay? All right. So if you're awake 16 hours of the day, all right, which a lot of people are these days, and let's say you blitz every 2 hours with clockwork, right?
Right.
So that's 8 rotations of blitz you're doing before you start going into your blitz energy. So it's more than this. So let's just do the bare minimum for the maths, though.
Okay.
If you basically factor that in, that you've got 8 extra rounds of another team at 2.5 minutes each, that's going to add in an additional 20 minutes a day per new team.
Right.
And that's if it's a really good, crushing, board-wiping team on turn 3. If it's a real grindy, barely make it through because you're taking Kree against Monadians, and it's taking 4 minutes 30 or longer, that's a different story. And it's a lot more than that. But every new team, in my opinion, adds between 20 and 30 minutes per day on hard blitz days. And that's nightmare fuel to me, because it's a system that eventually, I mean, we don't even have enough save squads in the game
It's just not
to be able to
sustainable.
actually just have one clicks already. Like, I've got 14 teams now that I regularly use on a rotation. 14.
Right.
And it's crazy as is, and I have to manually select characters still because there's not enough save slots in the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's so much about that bothers me. So
I just think
the fact you have to do all of that. Yeah.
I was just going to say, I just think at the end of the day, like, the scores keep going up. It's not sustainable in any way. Like, something, especially with them adding extra features into the game, like Alliance War was our last big one. What's going to come next? Like, how much more time can this game take? You know what I mean? If Blitz keeps going up and getting more and more difficult, taking more and more time to get the same rewards, and then we're adding in more features at the same time, you're going to destroy people's lives to stay at the same level that they were at currently, basically.
Well, and see, that's the real crux of it. So when you introduce something that basically says, all right, you've already achieved the top, to be able to keep what you already have, you need to spend again. That's what makes people quit games. Like,
it's not even again,
I was in
it's
Galaxy
more.
of Heroes. No, in some cases it's again. So, for example, that's the reason that I quit Galaxy of Heroes, because I was playing for 2 years. I was always meta chasing. I always did quite well over there. And I was very regularly in the top 20 when I was trying.
Right.
No problems at all. So what bothered me, though, is that when they brought out mods 2.0, is that I was only just getting to a point where my mods were good enough that made me able to counter pretty much whatever anyone threw at me. Then they basically said, all right, if you want to keep that lead, you now have to buy these and roll well to be able to stay where you are. Like, they literally just re-equated it. And that's what Red Stars was for this game. Like, I came so unbelievably close to quitting when Red Stars came out.
Yeah.
Because I don't really care
remember.
how much money I spend on these games. I don't have that sunken cost fallacy of, oh, well, I'm this invested, I need to stay. If I get to a point where I hate the game and I hate the developer that does it, I will walk away. I did it with Galaxy of Heroes, and that was a game that I loved for a very long time. And, you know, a lot of the issues that they had, I forgave because it wasn't enough to cease my enjoyment of the game. But this is, in essence, it's a mobile game, Hebrew. Like, it's not supposed to be. I mean, I've mentioned this, I think, a couple of weeks ago. At one point in time, I was an endgame progression raid guy in World of Warcraft.
Right.
I used to spend, like, hours every night playing that with my mates up until like 1 a.m, trying to grind out these bosses or grind out farm, getting ready for the bosses.
Yeah.
I've spent more time in a week on Marvel Strike Force when there's been 2 big Blitz events within 7 days than I ever spent in World of Warcraft progression. And that, you know, it just bothers me so much. And it's not the thing that these games mistake when they say, one of our key markers here, guys, we want to keep people just investing in on the time, because the more time they spend in front of the screen, the more likely they're going to spend. And you see a lot of money guys look at time engagement as a huge metric for the success of video game. It's how they defend to shareholders, because they'll say, well, yes, our earnings are down, but our engagement is up, which means soon the money will come with it.
Exactly.
Like it's just what they do in shareholder investment meetings. Like, it's just is what companies like this do. And I don't blame them for trying to make money, but, you know, when they're doing it in ways I don't like ethically, that's a different story.
Exactly. And that is, I mean, we, this episode went to darkest timeline real quick.
Well, it's probably on point, because pretty much that's the way the X-Men storylines always pan out. It goes to like darkest possible world. So technically we're we're on tone with X-Men.
Exactly. This was an X-Men themed podcast episode.
Exactly. But what I was going to say
we'll frame it as that. Good.
That's what these games forget, and I think you hit the nail on the head there, is that they want you to spend more and more and more and more and more time. And that's fine. But if you keep doing the same thing, it doesn't matter. Right? It just does not matter. And Alliance War was supposed to be the thing that like makes it the most engaging and the most fun, but you know, we spent the first 20 minutes talking about how that sucks if you're in the wrong bracket. Like, if you get stuck in that wrong matchmaking bracket, it's over, son. So, whereas if you buy a AAA game,
with it being also such a huge time commitment too. Like, War is no joke whenever it comes to time commitment. So,
Yep. And they say, oh, you only need to be on at the right time. But no, that's crap, because whenever you have free time, you need to be on and like boost blocking and holding so they can't boost theirs. I mean, the boost system, I think if they really want to make people stop pulling their hair out, they should bin it. But they know it's something they can make money from, so they won't.
Engagement up.
And that sucks, yeah. But I mean, time spent in a game, I'm not against it if it's being updated and it's new. And that's why I wasn't. The Mods 2.0 was the final straw for me, but I was kind of getting to that point with Galaxy of Heroes anyway, because it was like, all right, these characters are all new, really good and really cool, but what am I doing with them? Like, the combat's still technically the same. Nothing's really changed. There hasn't been a new raid for like 8 months. What do I care? Like, I'm just going to be injecting these characters. Maybe that gets me a little bit higher on a scoreboard. Maybe that gets me a little bit more loot. But what am I actually having fun with? Whereas, a new expansion pack comes out for a AAA title or a computer title or a PS4, and you're like, whole new storyline, whole new raid, whole new mechanics for you to get used to. And you're like, this is awesome. And this is where mobile games, I think they get very delusional.
Yeah.
Because they make so much money. I don't think I've ever prayed harder for a government to intervene on anything the way I'm hoping that what's happening in your Senate over there, I really want it to go through.
Oh, yeah, me too. I mean, I think that it's what's going on right now with mobile gaming and how much fucking money they're making and, what they hide behind, get loot boxes nowadays. It's getting crazier and crazier. So I definitely think intervention's needed.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, and when people have to do like political speak to spin, well, technically it's not gambling. If you have to say the word technically to defend something, you know that you are in the wrong, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And all right, well that actually pretty much I think wraps it all up. This Like I said, this was the darkest timeline episode. But
that's it. This was our Australian guest Debbie Downer for this week.
I think honestly though, like I always feel like we're being so negative on the podcast, but that's because I just think objectively, like what we do is we give feedback, we review things, we give critiques, like, and if you're being objective about a game, like you have to be. I can't just blow sunshine up everyone's ass about things that are not good. So in my book, like it's just like you're gonna get complaining until something good comes out. By the way,
that's why the past 6 weeks was
Oh no, go ahead. I'll tell you mine after.
Well, I was going to say that's why the last 6 weeks have been so disappointing. Like Roy and I have spoken off air as well. Like how disappointing it is that we go into an episode almost apologetic that most of what we're about to talk about is us pooping on game mechanics because people are coming because they want to enjoy the game, they want to get better at it. We're doing our strat advice, we're doing our farming advice on Masters of Launch, and we still do that. But people have to wade through like 40 minutes of us going, this is a bad choice for you guys out there, and now so we're getting much more specific. Like I flat out say, for me, I will buy this. For this, I will not buy this because I want people to know what I'm doing and things that I'm doing for strategic reasons, things I'm doing for my own ethics reasons. Right. Like I said to you off air, the great thing about Fox Next making so many bad choices over the last 4 weeks, let's say 6 weeks, has been for my bank account. Like I've spent the least amount on Marvel Strike Force in the last 6 weeks than I probably did in the preceding year. Yeah,
that's right. And I hope that it continues on a mass scale, that it's not just you, because I know it won't, because if Red Stars didn't break the game, literally nothing will. So I don't think that anything will ever change with it, but I certainly hope that something makes enough of a dent and someone's paying attention enough to maybe try to rethink some things. But we'll see.
Look, they're aware of the issues. I mean, for them, man, to be 100% honest, and look, I don't work there, so I don't know if this is true or not. But I know that there are genuinely great guys that love the game and the player base that on a daily basis fight that fight.
Oh, where they say, look, sure.
The advice from the people that make the content for this game is that this is a horrible, horrible idea. Please don't do it. And then some guy who's responsible for it, they step in and just go, tell the community to, sit on a tent pole. We don't care. As long as they're spending, we don't care. And that's the thing. The guys that have always spent, they're already crushing the game. They're enjoying it like a lot. Why would they care? So they're going to keep spending, and so it's not going to be a problem that ever goes away.
And exactly, and that's I think what it is. Like the developers and things like that, like the people that actually do the programming, they're all fans of the game. Like I mean, they're fans of the IP, they're fans of the game. They're gamers at heart. They know what we're talking about, and they can definitely sympathize. I think, at least for the most part, I would imagine. But whenever you get up to the business part, like up at the top, and you got the suits up there. And of course, I'm generalizing here because I'm sure there's a lot of them that do care, or some of them, I should say, that do care. But regardless, the people who are actually calling the shots don't. They're detached from the game. All they're looking at is the analytics. And unfortunately, I mean, it's just the reality of the situation. Even though people will bitch about it and they hate what's going on, they still play. Yeah. They still buy. And that's the thing.
And that's the thing. Like, I mean, so many more of the old school greats of gaming, they've really fallen out of favor with the people who built them in the last 5 years by doing this. You had EA with their sense of pride and accomplishment, and the community said, you know what? Go F yourself. Yeah. No. And they didn't buy their next couple of games. And EA had to change. Like they've put loot boxes in, I think, only one of the games they've released since the Battlefront 2 thing went down. On consoles, at least. I know some of their mobile games, they went a different way, like Command & Conquer.
Yeah.
Then we've seen Blizzard, and I think that's really going to hurt them this year because they've released a couple of lackluster titles, and they've told their Diablo community, we don't really care what you think. Mobile's the way to go. We're going to build something in there. And I have no doubt microtransactions, because everyone has a phone. Exactly. So unfortunately, it really takes a community really standing up and just sort of saying, no, this actually is enough. Thank you. I see what you're selling now. I see you don't care about us as consumers. we're going to walk away. And that's what they've done. And this is what's so fascinating to me about, and ironic really, that, you know, America Chavez, for example, is supposed to be in this universe like one of the most inclusive characters because she's, you know, she's not white. She is not straight. Like, you know, she's very representative of minorities in a way that's supposed to be celebrated. I love the irony that so very few people are going to unlock her. Like, they've locked it away but for the top 1% for a character that, if you really wanted to get behind that message of inclusivity, right, and really celebrate Pride Month, you'd go, do you know what, guys? Free 7 reds, free 7 yellows for everybody. And that's what they should have done for it. But now they've arguably created the worst orb ever for a character whose whole representation within the universe was created to basically help some people feel represented in the game.
Exactly.
And to celebrate inclusivity. And this Unity Orb is trying to, you and I talked about this in a different podcast, which hasn't been released yet, about like the ethics of companies and their responsibilities and how they try and say, look at us, we're having this event for this character. Aren't we amazing? Aren't we doing the right thing for the community? Aren't we inclusive?
Right.
And it's just exploitative in a way to try and make money. So
absolutely,
I'm genuinely surprised how many people have actually bought Chavez packs. And I think I know why, if you want to have one last chat before we sign off. They're very clever at Fox recently.
Oh, yeah.
Why do you think people have been going so hard on Blitz recently more than they have previously? Like, more people trying to get top 1500. There's 2 reasons for me. What do you think?
I didn't know that there was such a big spike of people trying to hit those. I mean, other than for like Colossus and things like that. For obvious reasons.
So meta characters all being locked behind Blitz is one. Okay, so they realized that the best way to get their in-game engagement up was to lock most of these good characters behind Blitz. Right. Now they've even gotten rid of the illusion that the campaigns are worth it with the Chavez one, because you have to get lucky to get anything. So now it's like, well, you need to Blitz if you want her as well, or buy her straight out, which this is the first character in a while I didn't do. Because, I'm very displeased as a spending player recently. Right. So, but here's the thing. What they've done is the bonus Red Star events for new characters, right? We get people every day now because it's 10%, because there's such a very good chance if you do roll well, it's going to be on the new character. Yeah. That people go, this statement, tell me if you've seen this more in the last month than ever before, because I know I have. Guys, I wasn't going to farm or I wasn't going to buy this, but I just got 5 Red Stars. Yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Right? So I think that this is actually genius from a spending point of view and unbelievably manipulative, which is basically, give them the reds because then they're like, well, if I don't unlock 5 reds, then it's useless. Right. So I don't even, why would I do it? So now I need the yellows. Now I need the yellows. So they go out and they farm. So we've had so many people coming to us like, oh man, just pulled like a 7 reds on Phoenix. I think I'm going to go for it. And you're like, bro, your characters to get there aren't even 4 yet. Like, the amount of money you're going to have to spend. Like, dude, I get it, but you will get that advantage eventually. Please do not, like, break your mortgage to do this. Exactly. So, ever since they changed it, and I mean, it's great, though, for most of us that were going for those events anyway, because you're going to eventually have a Red Star character that's very good, hopefully, if you're able to roll well. There's a better chance of that. But I think this is the reason of why they're doing it. Because they want you to engage in those blitzes. They want purchasers to go, damn, I could change the world with this character, man. And people get way too carried away about 5 Red Stars. Oh, yeah. Right? Just because you get a character at 5 reds, really think about where you're going to use it. Like, we had a lot of people in our alliance pull 5 and 6 reds on Chavez. Right. And like, oh, Chew, what did you get? I said, I didn't open any red orbs. They're like, what? This is your thing. You always, like, save all your red orbs and then you open them on the bonus event, then you save up again. And I'm like, yeah, but she is not a character that is going to define any game mode. Right. She's going to be good and usable in many game modes. She's going to be good on a brawler team. But she is not going to define anything. Exactly. She's not meta defining. She's going to be great on a brawler team. Yeah. Exactly. And she's not city either. So it's not like you can sort of chuck her on a brawlers team and like pull off some miracles within a lot of the special raid events. So that means like Blitz, Alliance War. Okay, great. I think Alliance War, she's going to be a good character. But do you really want to divert your entire farm and resources and put them into a character that may get you one defensive victory in an alliance war, given that you cannot control the matchmaking of those alliance wars in the first place? So I've really, really strategized more than ever these last couple of months about where my resources go. Like, I'm sitting on 19 mil gold, like 500 of all the major catalysts. Like, I am so specific about what I do with all my investments now, because I see what's happening, and I see that they sort of make these things that look amazing for Alliance War. But to me, where I am right now, and I know everyone's experience is different, but because we're getting screwed so hard by matchmaking, I'm not going to buy any Alliance War specific characters unless I feel I can use them somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, it really is, like, now is the time. I mean, it's always good to be discerning, but now especially is a good time to be more and more discerning about where you put your resources, because, yeah, it's otherwise you're going to have such an investment on every single character now, because they always try to, even if it's just words, they always try to manipulate the situation to try to make every new character look amazing, or you want to buy them because of that red star increase or whatever.
Yeah, and absolutely, and that's where my main thing is at the moment, mate, is trust as well.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you know, we saw the videos of America Chavez, and on paper, she seems like she could be a devastating brawler because of the amount of damage she can do on her opening 2 turns. And, you know, if she gets called in for an assist by Miss Marvel, the fact that she puts defense down on an assist as well, or has a chance to before it gets resisted, is incredible. Like, you know, she's going to be a good, usable character.
Right.
But it's just not meta defining. And there's just no trust from me with Fox Next, because I really have not let go of this, because they've just sort of ignored me. And the eventual response was, because we highlighted the blog post on the 31st of August last year in the Envoy chat. A few of us were fighting that fight, saying, look, you guys broke this promise. And of course, you know, some of the newer guys were unaware of the older blog post, so we linked it to them and said, look, flat out, you guys promised us after S.H.I.E.L.D. we wouldn't need to farm garbage characters until they had been reworked. And you've broken that promise with this event, right? So what do you have to say about that? Are you going to do something about it now? Or are you going to apologize to the community for saying, yeah, you lied to us? They lost the trust when it came to Spider-Verse and the way they marketed that. Up until now, they've proven nothing about what they've said about Wakanda.
Yeah.
You know, this week, tomorrow is basically when they prove that they got that one right or wrong. You know, we still have X-Men. It's still a wild card. Like, on paper, like, you look at the characters, and I think unless Phoenix attack stats are just nuts, I think without Cyclops, that team's super counterable.
Yeah, I think that there are some glaring weaknesses to the team, but I just to hop back to something that you said with Wakanda, how upset are you going to be? Because did you go hard for Wakanda or no?
Oh yeah, I've got everyone 6-star.
Okay, so how upset are you?
I've got Shuri at 7.
All right, so how upset are you going to be if that team is not what they said it was going to be with Ult 7?
Yeah, I'll pretty much be putting feedback to Fox exactly what I said last time, which was, if you guys don't put those characters in the hands of players who know what they're doing early and let them showcase these characters to show what they can actually do,
right?
Or if you don't actually, you know, do your own footage unmanipulated to show that these teams can counter a meta, or that these teams are going to be the premier raid team when you have zero evidence to the community of it, you basically, and this is one of the part that really bothers me about loot boxes, let alone these promises, is that it's all bought on a promise. Like, you can look there's nothing on the label. It's just like, I know it doesn't say it on the label, but I promise you it's in there. Like, if someone said to me, you know, this is a magic yellow pill, I promise you if you take it, you will become the world's greatest lover. I mean, that's tough because I already am there, but you know what I mean, right? You're not gonna buy that promise from someone that seems shady. And unfortunately, there's so much of the trust issues.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know whether it's shady or dishonest. I think the best term at the moment would be inconsistent. Like, I mean, anything else above that, you could certainly make that case. I don't argue with you hard on it because I don't think I can defend them. But I certainly say inconsistent, because they tell you and say this will not happen again, and within a calendar year it happens again. and they say we won't move the goalpost, we won't base content off red stars, you won't have to farm a garbage character to unlock a legendary. And, every single promise they've made to us, they're broken. Even going back to the original scandal, Goldgate 1.0, a year later, here we are again. Some guy, getting offers. I'm surprised that more people are still not upset. Like, it's great for the global community that they're getting all this free gold. Like, unbelievably great.
Right.
But it is not the level of advantage that those other guys got.
Especially the multi-buys. The ones that multi-buyed.
Well, and that's the thing. You have to trust them that the numbers that they gave us are correct. Like, I would be very, very surprised if any whale or kraken and like myself that saw that would have bought all three in milliseconds, because you would have gone, this is 100% a mistake.
Yeah.
But I am capitalizing on it. They'll try and take it back from me. I'm going to leverage that into something I want, because otherwise I can go them for fraud, right? And then they don't roll back the mistake. And you're like, oh my God, I just got away with murder. This is fantastic. I've just gone up. You think about what 90 million gold could do for you, which was the sort of the upper ceiling. But let's say worst case 60 million. What's everyone walking away with here? They're projecting it's about 10 if you buy everything, right?
I want to say that it was 20 if you buy everything.
I can't remember the number, but let's just assume it's nowhere near 60 and probably not even half of that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I honestly think anyone that saw that order in American time would have bought it. And I think a lot more free-to-play players than 85 would have bought it than that. I'm not calling them liars, but we have seen with so many of the things they've done recently with like rollbacks in the Orange Elites back in the day. We've seen it with Golds. We've seen it with incorrectly advertised things where they've tried to sort of correct it. And then like going out and putting in back pay for things because they get it so consistently wrong. Their internal tracking metrics never add up. And whenever you call them on it, all of a sudden there's another email going, we're giving everyone more compensation. Not for any particular reason. We're not admitting that the numbers may have been wrong. However, there could have been there. So
Absolutely.
there's a lot of trust issues that they're definitely not trying. Everything's buzzwordy in their blog post now. It's like amazing, powerful, and unfortunately, because they do not give the content creators a test server, or they don't have their own marketing department show you what these teams can do in a live game format, right? That's where we're stuck. Like, I mean, even if Cerebro, like if Cerebro was basically given the test build, could sit down and say, okay, guys, this is Wakanda on the first nodes of Ultima 7. Or this is them and how they perform on Ultima 6 last boss, right? Or this is how they perform in the Wakanda lanes in, is it Gamma Raid? Right?
Yeah.
Whatever it is. To show you this is why they're good. This is why you should buy them with confidence, because what it says on the packaging, this is what they do. But they don't. And then they don't let us have it. They've tried with that sort of stuff in the past. I really hope it goes forward. I'm sure that my expressions of frustration directly to Fox Next and within my content recently will probably eventually cost me a spot in the Envoy program, if I'm honest, because companies like this, they only want people really to talk about what they want you to talk about. But we have always, and we built our podcast, and I know you guys have done the same. We will always tell you what we think is best for our own account.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because if it's the best thing for our account, it's probably the best thing for your account. So to do anything other than that is frustrating. So we had about 8 weeks of us actually being really positive about the game and the direction it was going on Fox Next and putting on Cerebro. So we had a point of contact and then him being very active in the community. Like everything was looking so good. And that's what is so disappointing. Yeah. It's like, you had a partner, they cheated on you for a year and you're about to walk out and they're like, oh, babe. So I just realized what I have. And you're like, look, I'm telling you, man, like I found all this stuff out. This is your last chance. And like, no, yeah. And then like everything's amazing. The sex is fantastic. They're paying you extra attention. There's massages. There's loving attention. They're home every night. Everything seems amazing. And then they don't come home one night, right? And then you're like, let me just see if my suspicions are correct. And then you look behind the door and we see gold gates. We see, preferential treatment to top end alliances. We see, all this incredible stuff, and you just like
real quick. Yeah, I think that Cecil is the perfect analogy.
Yeah, Cecil is every person that has been playing since launch that is still playing this game is Cecil.
That's Cecil.
What's his name? Pengleton. What's his
Pepperton.
Pepperton. I knew it was P and tin at the end.
Yeah, Cecil Pepperton. Yeah, that is Cecil Pepper. For anyone not getting the context of that, Chewy and I have a D&D podcast for Alternate Reality. Go check it out. And my character, Cecil Pepperton, and he was the foundation of him becoming a hero is based on he found out that his wife was cheating on him, walked in, saw that. And so that is pretty much exactly. And I've said this before. I feel like an abused spouse with Fox Next. That's my relationship with them. I'm someone who just isn't walking away because I for whatever reason, but I can't get away. I can't leave, but they keep just screwing me, and they're like, no, things are going to change. But
man, I promise you, the only reason I'm still here and playing this game and doing that content is because of the community. Because if it wasn't for the alliance that we have with 23 guys of just, butt-kicking glory who, if I've seen it so many times in chat in the last month since we became Alternate that it makes me so happy that, someone may have something going on in their lives and you just see 23 blokes just reach out and just go, mate, are you okay? If you need to talk to someone, I know we don't know each other in real life, but shoot me a message or let's get in voice chat. I'd love to talk.
That's
that
true.
is the reason I stay, because there are such incredible people. I'm so lucky that we have 23 of them in our alliance. There's one D-bag, but that's the guy on this podcast. That's me. But there's always got to be one. So it makes me so happy to see that. And then the community of our fans as well. I know your guys are very passionate and really supportive of you guys as well.
Yeah.
If it really wasn't for the guys supporting Masters of Launch, whether it be people listening and just saying they love the show or, people engaging with us saying, hey, man, this was interesting. Can you tell me more about it? And then, of course, our patrons, all of them put together, it's that's the only reason I stay right now. I hope the game has an upswing soon. But I've just got this feeling that when people get really sandbagged by the aftermath of X-Men, because I think they will push a lot of buttons in Arena and Alliance War, I think a lot of people are going to get upset and frustrated.
Yeah, I think we're going to wrap it up, I promise, in a second. But I just want to say, I do think for me especially, also it is the same. And I know with Dorian, if it wasn't for the community, I would still definitely play a bit, but. Yeah. It would not be I can guarantee you I wouldn't be in an alliance. I would just be solo, right? Or I would be in one of the automatic, put together alliances, where I just have to I'll hop in whenever I feel like it. Right.
Mate, this is happening so much with what you just said. We actually had a guy reach out a couple of days ago and said, mate, can you put out a PSA for us on your server? To just basically let people know if they want to park themselves in a bunch of players that just kind of log in every day and just play.
Yeah.
There's no real requirements of anyone. Let them know that there is a retirement cluster where people can park their characters so they can just kind of log in and get passive stuff whenever.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, it's a fantastic idea. So yeah, we've got him highlighted there somewhere.
Yeah.
So that happens frequently at the moment, dude.
And that's because I know that I used to be like that with because I never went really hard on Galaxy of Heroes. And I really kind of miss that now because I found out that was a very intense game similar to this. And I was never really a part of it. And I like just kind of logging in every day and kind of casually completing my stuff and logging back out. And so I do kind of miss that, especially with things getting more and more difficult over here. And you and I having more and more things coming out everywhere else, for other stuff that we're doing on Alternate. It does get
there's so many good games coming out, and by so many third-party studios or Kickstarted, crowdfunded studios that have the attitude of gaming companies 10 years ago, where they're like, if we don't make this for the people, they won't play our game, and then we don't get to profit as a company. That's why Larian Studios, who crowdfunded and kickstarted the incredible Divinity Original Sin series.
Right.
Have you played either of those two games?
No, but I've heard obviously ridiculous amount about them though.
do yourself a favor, play them. They're so good. So good.
All right.
And then now, obviously, that company's been recognized that they're now making the next Baldur's Gate. And I could not be more thrilled.
I know.
Because it's made by guys that care so much about the game. Like, they interact with their community. They change things. They update. They're just so good because they recognize that the fans are the ones that got them this far.
Yes.
So... and with more companies like that, I'm much more wanting to put my money into those companies. So I think the next 8 weeks will define my personal spending future on this game.
Right.
I'm not going to make any claims about my playing future. I need to see. But I think if I had another 2 months with how I feel about the game at the moment, I would consider it.
Yeah. And with me, it's... because of the community and everything like that, you know, our patrons, especially the people that also are patrons and there's people that show up live to the show, like, all the time. Those are the people that, like, are really kind of rally around.
Yeah.
But obviously everyone else as well. But if it wasn't for that, just as you, like, I definitely would be, like, you would never hear from me again in relation to this game. And I would be, like, playing, like, once every couple of days probably for a while until I kind of felt like something big came out that I really wanted to be a part of, like Gambit. I can promise you then I'd be more involved. but you know, that being said, I really hope an upswing comes. It's just kind of what you said as well. It's just one of those things where I feel like this is a company that is defined by profit. It has shown itself to be that. And at the end of the day, if they keep testing our limits, which is what a company's going to do, where's our breaking point? They keep testing our limits, and they're not finding that wall. They're just going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and that's where I see this honestly going until they find that breaking point, if there even is a breaking point.
Well, let me give you one hypothetical, right?
Sure.
So at the moment, I mean, I think if you were to ask any of them honestly, anonymously behind the scenes, do you really think you're pushing the extremes of loot boxes in this game when you compare yourself to others? I think anyone with any form of moral compass would say, we're really trying to see what we get away with here, right?
Oh, yeah.
So let's say legislation passes in the US Senate. Loot boxes are banned.
Right.
What happens to this game? Do you think they keep doing it and pivot to skins? Or do you think that they basically go, oh, if that's how it's going to be, is it? Fine, kill the game.
If they kill the game, honestly, fuck them. First of all, like, I will say, I'm leaving that in on this episode. Stick it to Dorian. But no, seriously. Sorry, Dorian, but I'm leaving that in. But, yeah, I would say screw them. I don't think that they're going to do that, though, because skins have shown it. And I don't know why they just don't do this in the first place. Skins are such a good way to monetize. People throw down mad money on skins. League of Legends is the best example of this. I mean, they have skin loot boxes now, but even without that, that's not like the main thing that people buy. People buy the skins themselves. They have ridiculous quantities of skins. They have different tiers of skins, different animations of skins. Like, so the higher skin tier it is, the more animations and special effects and differences that the skin has, right? That has been shown to be like the best form of monetization. You have your customer base, which is incredibly happy because they get to play the game for free. They get to experience it in all of its glory. And then if you want some aesthetic differences, boom, there you go. That's where all your money comes in.
But see, there's the key in what you just said. See, that's where this game really has the main issue, is that competition now is being defined by who got more red stars and thus more red star unlocks, right? So this game is more pay to win than most of its peers.
Absolutely.
And that's why those other games do so well from skins, because there is no paid for competitive advantage. And that's one of the discussions that's being had around loot boxes, where they're saying if there's anything that you can have that's randomly rolled that will also have the ability to increase someone's ability to compete in the game, we think it should be gone. So I'm so happy those discussions are escalating.
Yes.
And now we just really need to hope that the politicians in the US, and this is a big call, do the right thing for the people, not the right thing for big business. Like if they fold to the ESA, who represents the video game companies, and they've been the ones like inventing all this creative language around why loot boxes are not gambling, even though whenever you write anything about them, they sound like gambling for a couple of years now. So,
yeah,
Yeah, it's interesting.
Hopefully we see these changes. I think that they would go the skin route just because otherwise you'd just be still closing the game on something that would easily be making you lots of money. I mean, you already have a foundation built in that if they were willing to spend on that before, on everything else before, I can promise you, regardless of what it is, aesthetics or not, they'll still be buying. So I think it would be stupid of them to close it unless it was just a spiteful move. But let's go ahead and, I mean, that pretty much wraps up all that stuff. We only have like 2 grab bag questions because I did it super last minute, literally like 2 minutes before this. But let me go ahead and see what they are real quick. All right. So, okay, so it's really only one, it looks like, but I'll do the second one, but it's more meant for me.
Okay.
But what determines MVP in war? I managed to get MVP, but I don't know what I did aside from attacking that made me better than anyone else on my team. Now, I asked you about that off air before, but why don't you go ahead and tell everyone?
Yeah, so it's changed a little bit because when it first came out, it didn't used to count defensive victories towards the score because there was a few of us that had a lot of defensive victories when we had some little curly ones before people sort of figured out counters. And then, like, you know, you're still not MVP, though you had, you know, technically between your attacks and your defensive victories, you had more wins and points than anyone else. So that has changed a little bit. So your defensive victories and your attacking victories, it doesn't seem like raw attacks is enough, unfortunately. They seem to take some aggregate values between the two and then go from there. So that's not 100% confirmed by Fox, but that's definitely things that we've noticed by people in our alliance who care about MVP and very, very, very regularly go for it. And since that system changed, is when I got MVP a couple of times because of defensive victories.
Okay, that makes sense.
That was when I unlocked Ultron just before like most people that we were coming up against. So like we had a lot of like say 3 to 4, you know, every time they tried to take down the Ultron. But I've since split up the team from like Minardian's Ultron into like 3 teams for better defense and blah blah blah. So it's a combination of mainly attacking victories and defensive victories combined. They're the main ones. If it's close, then it looks like secondary stats might be considered, but we don't know enough to say that.
Right. All right, and then the next one that we have, it is... All right. So Immortal Thor asked me, Hebrew Hammer, what do you use your eyes for? Hint, it's your favorite. I use them for sight, not for vision. He just wants me to say vision. But yes, to appease you, it's for vision.
I thought it was like, you know, that you've made some sort of like revelation about like things you've watched on the internet or something.
Nope, it's always about vision. At the end of the day, it's always about vision.
Gotcha.
But all right, I have one for you.
Okay.
This is just a little fun one. What's your favorite TV series right now? Because Game of Thrones is gone. You and I have already talked about that.
Yeah.
So
I've been going back and watching a lot of older stuff, to be honest, and I haven't been watching that much TV because my wife and I were doing a big binge and catching up on a lot of shows that we sort of started years ago but never really finished. So we went through from like Big Bang to the end.
Oh, yes.
What was the other series that ended that
I didn't know you watched Big Bang.
It was Game of Thrones. Yeah, we used to watch it all. We used to watch it like as it came out. And then we sort of missed like 3 seasons when we moved over here. But now there's these new sort of streaming apps and things like that here, so it's much more accessible.
I love Big Bang, so yeah.
I used to. I think it lost a lot of its edge towards the end. Well, not edge, but you know, the sort of jokes were always the same. Like the Sheldon jokes became more like sort of
tropey.
autistic focus rather than being like genuinely clever callbacks that they'd set up, you know, at the start of the episode. Like the first season was unbelievably good at setting up a very minor, obscure premise at the start and then bringing in a payoff like 22 minutes later. I think they did really well with that.
I think a lot of it's just redundancy. Like you can only make so many science jokes so many times after 11 seasons or however long it... Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 11 or 12 seasons now.
So we've kind of hit pause at the moment because we saw a lot of new shows that we really want to watch. But I didn't want to get into them because I've seen there's so many companies that are like ruthless about new seasons at the moment. Like I was really looking forward to watching Swamp Thing, which was based on the DC comics. And it was announced that it was cancelled an hour after the premiere.
Yeah.
And, you know, I know that this is all because of Disney's doing their own streaming service and now DC's talking about setting up their own streaming platforms for God knows what reason.
They already do.
Oh, do they? Well, there you go. It's obviously so worth watching that I have nothing to do with it. I know the animated stuff is pretty great, but I don't watch enough of it. So, I've been sort of saying, well, what have I not seen for a really long time that my wife probably hasn't seen that I should introduce her to? So, the new show we're watching at the moment is Jessica Jones season 3.
Just started that last night.
3 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think so far?
Honestly, it's been a little rough to get into for me. Season 1 was amazing. Season 2, good-ish.
Yeah.
And then this one so far, I'm only on episode 1. I guess like a little past episode 1 because I started episode 2 last night and then I went to sleep. But yeah, I'm not into it yet. You know, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely sort of, they're trying to make it in some senses a little bit less superhero-y so far, but they've loved the slow burn for Jessica Jones. Like every season, it's such a slow burn to like episode 9, and then it all hits the fan for 3 episodes. But, you know, season 1 also had, what's Doctor Who's name?
I don't remember the actor's name, but he was amazing. But I would say, I would say that one though, like he, I mean, shit hit the fan almost immediately. I still remember like I think it was the first episode where you saw Kilgrave, spoilers, you saw Kilgrave like go into the family's house and tell everyone, like tell the kids to go in the closet and tell the mother to like make him stuff and then the dad to go like kill himself or something. I think
it was a couple of episodes before they actually introduced him. But the first couple of episodes, they were dealing more with Jessica Jones, who she was, and the Luke Cage stuff. And then a couple episodes in, you knew why she was damaged, and then they started showing you the character who was the reason why.
Maybe
and that's where it became really, really good because he played such an amazing character and villain. That was just as far as that went.
Yeah, I mean, like honestly, like that was just so real. Like his power and it being shown in such a kind of realistic way. Like if someone had that power, what would they be doing? And like the kind of shit he was doing with like, I would see like some evil person easily doing that. And it was on such a small scale of like, it wasn't just him like going out. He definitely did this, but like, it wasn't just him like going out to like banks and telling them, give me all the money and everything like that. Yeah. It was like just him going through like mundane life, but making everyone do things for him against their will. But
him just playing.
It was so maniacal. It was crazy. It was visceral for me. But yeah, so
I'm enjoying it so far, but we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, exactly. I've just wanted that same kind of thing back from the 3rd season, but I haven't got it yet. So
the main series I'm showing my wife through at the moment, and I love this show when it was on because it felt like a sort of a modern X-Filesy reboot, was the TV show Fringe by J.J. Abrams.
Never even heard of it.
Oh, dude, it was such a really, really good show. So I think J.J. Abrams was one of the writers on it, I want to say. I may have that wrong. But it was a really cool concept because it starts off very X-Filesy. Like they have all these weird like deaths or abilities and stuff that doesn't really make any sense in season 1. And then it really starts to pivot. The last couple of seasons, I haven't seen them for a very long time. I remember them going quite weird and trying some new stuff. But, I enjoyed the crap out of that show. My wife had never seen it. So yeah, we're watching, all 5 seasons of that as we speak.
Nice.
Yeah, well, I think it finished in like 2013 or something. So
I think I'll have to check it out just because I love J.J. Abrams. So I'll probably, if he has something to do with it, then I'll probably give that one a shot. For me, I've been watching. And, Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, and I was going to say another thing that you and I have talked about is I'm waiting for more episodes to come out because I can't do that show week to week. I want to know all of it. Is season 2 of American Gods.
Oh my God. Well, wait. Oh, that's right. Because you're not watching it week to week. Yeah, you're waiting for all of it to binge.
I was. Yeah, I've only seen the first 2, and I was like, nah, this is gonna be. They're gonna do little cliffhangers every episode this year. You can just tell.
Yes. I've been watching. I mean, I'm current with it, and I have to say, it's amazing. Nice. You have a quite a ride. Mad Sweeney. My favorite character. I love him so much. He's so cool. Anyone remembers this, but or if I look like a nerd for knowing this, but he was like or not like a super villain, but in Law and Order's SVU, he was like
the same actor.
Yeah, he was in there as like a season finale guy who was just an amazing villain. He was so screwed up. It was crazy. It was awesome. But ever since then, whenever I see him and everything, I'm like, oh man, this guy's so good. Because you saw him in Orange is the New Black, as well as this one guy who had a really cool, or a really interesting arc. I shouldn't say cool, but it's an interesting arc. And yeah, seeing him in this playing Mad Sweeney, I just felt like he was at home playing this part. I loved it. I can't wait to talk about. We'll have to do a clicker skip on that later on. But
yeah, definitely. Well, the week the finale comes out, I'll binge the whole thing.
Yes, please do, and then we'll definitely do that. Okay, so let's go ahead and I was going to say, for me, Chernobyl right now. I just finished up Chernobyl on HBO. Very good. I know lots of people are talking about it, so I'm not unique in this, but you should definitely give that one a watch.
Yeah, my wife watched all of it. I've only seen the first episode, so I missed a lot of it. But is it true it's the highest rated? Is it on IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes, like ever? Like whatever it is for a TV series, I know it's getting accolades as like, as far as the people that watch TV is concerned, the highest rating show ever.
I did not know that it was that. I knew that it was being rated amazingly, and that news articles everywhere were talking about it. I didn't know it was actually the highest rated ever. I would still be surprised if that was the case.
Yeah.
But
well, you and I have a podcast coming out shortly, very soon, where we're talking about things like Instagram culture and like just the warped sort of millennial mind for like, do it for the gram.
Yes.
And since that started airing, there's been this really weird trend where people have been going to the outskirts of Chernobyl and taking sexy selfies because they know if they tag #Chernobyl.
What?
And they've got boobs out.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
This is one of the things I've got. This is one of the notes I've got for when you and I do that recording.
Oh, man. Okay.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So we'll save that chat for then. So yeah, Chernobyl is the highest rated TV series ever on IMDb.
Wow. That's incredible. And
with a 9.7 out of 10 average rating from 140,000 reviews.
Oh, wow. I know I'm going to be doing a click or skip over this with Irish, so I'm excited to do that. But man, it was such a wild ride. Or no, it wasn't a wild ride. I shouldn't say that. That's a gross exaggeration. I knew what was going to happen. But it was such a good depiction of it. Everything was so well done. The acting, it was amazing and everything like that. Definitely watch it, people. And
mate, I love that. Have you heard the Russian response?
Yes, they're making their own version where it was a CIA covert ops.
American spies. Yeah. It's going to be amazing to see how that all pans out.
I love how like now they're trying to change the narrative after all of this time. Like they're going to go back and try to. I don't know if they're actually like if they're just doing this as entertainment or they're basically going to consider this now canon for their history. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Because I'm not sure if they're trying to propagate that as canon for their history now, just as a fuck you to us for Chernobyl.
Well, I mean, I haven't seen the series and how they depicted the messaging to the Russian people about what actually happened, but I'm assuming it was probably something in that ballpark.
It's pretty widespread knowledge that it was that. I mean, it's been minimized by them, absolutely, but it's pretty widespread knowledge that it is them that caused it. Was not anything to do with the U.S. But I think now, like, it will be interesting to see if they're actually just making this as an entertainment, like, what if it was caused by this kind of thing, or if they're actually going to. It'd be interesting to say. Yeah, and I for some reason it's so on point for them to do something like that's that ridiculous. I really think that they're probably going to try to just propagate it as, no, this is actually what happened. Now we changed our minds. New evidence was discovered.
I just love that this podcast has turned into brief samples of click or skip and porn and politics for people so that they can kind of get a bit of a mini feel about how those other podcasts go. I mean, they don't have the same kind of filters that you have on Ravager, of course.
Definitely.
You and I are a little bit free with our language and talking about, like, sexual histories and, theoretically, if you were in this situation with this person, what would you do? Go, So, yeah. I hope people, if they take anything away from this episode after we spent so much time poo-pooing on the game that we're here to actually play and represent, that they go and give those other things a listen at least.
Yeah, well, the episode's done at this point. We've talked about everything, so let's go ahead and, now would be the plug time anyways. So plug MOL real quick, and then we'll talk about A&R.
Yeah, sure. So Strikeforce Masters launch is coming up on 1 year in a couple of weeks, so we've been going for quite a while. I know that this podcast that we're on right now has been going for a bit longer. But, Roy and I are still enjoying it. Still going to be doing it every week for now. And, we've also got Gamers with Grit on YouTube. We'll have a new episode up on Tuesday. I missed one this week because I was too busy doing the whole weight loss thing, that I haven't got any content out. It turns when you're trying to add 90 to, 180 minutes of exercise a day, that's low intensity. I'm going to head up to the shorter term, high intensity stuff soon. It takes some time and like food prep and not just having stuff delivered to your door. Although I have done that once this week, just on a really, I basically just burned myself out too much. And if I didn't have a big refeed, I knew it was going to hit me metabolic wise. So, Gamers with Grit every Tuesday on Alternate Reality. All of our podcasts will be on the website as of now, alternatereality.com. Make sure you check out Click or Skip for Hebrew, and he's not Irish anymore, is he? What does he call himself now?
Oh, he's now Revo, or he also just goes by his name, Sean.
Sean, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
With Sean, the D&D podcast has been a hell of a lot of fun. I've been really enjoying doing that every week with you guys.
Yes.
So League of Extraordinary Dicemen, make sure you check that out. Once you give people like 10 seconds of Cecil, I'll give them 10 seconds of Foss so they can hear what we're doing.
10 seconds of Cecil right now?
Just do the voice, you weasel.
I don't really feel like doing the voice right now. It kind of takes a lot out of me. It puts me in a mental state I'm not always comfortable being in for the day.
Oh, you reckon that this kind of voice isn't exactly taxing on my vocal cords?
That's a good point there, but it's more of a mental thing for me. I feel kind of like a cuck for the rest of the day.
Yeah, we didn't exactly think these character choices through when we were creating them for potentially multiple years.
No, we did not. That's a very good point. We do have multiple years of this coming.
We really did not. Well, unless we die, which if I keep rolling like I did this week, is a very high chance of happening.
That is a very good point. I think Cecil's going to be around for a very long time, but we'll see. Because God knows you guys don't want my second pick coming out, so.
Oh, God. Are you not bringing him back? No, he's dead, I heard. He rusted to death in a pile of
I think you guys said he's dead. I don't think he's necessarily dead.
No, it's canon. It's canon now. It's canon.
But
unless there's that magic repair shop. And then the last one, of course, is Porn and Politics, which is where you and I kind of get to just talk about like what's in our brains from what we've seen in the last week. So, ranging from artificial intelligence and how that's being used from everything from military to sexual applications. We've talked about the ethical responsibility of major corporations. We've talked about
woke
tokenism
yeah.
versus representation in advertising and how Gillette's trying to tell us why all men are crap. And then if you say that they're addressing all men, apparently you're a sexist piece of crap that doesn't believe in women.
Or why Pepsi thinks it can stop racism.
With a Pepsi.
With a Pepsi.
By making the hero a white chick that, has had so much plastic surgery, she's not even looking like the person she
reality
was born
show.
as, so.
Yeah, reality show white chick poster girl.
Yeah, exactly. Who is basically like a couple of bad seasons away from pondering a sex tape, let's face it.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, that's where we kind of unleash the most. So our fantastical and play sort of stuff for Huber and I comes out in the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. But, I guess a lot of our opinions and what's in our brains as two privileged middle-class white guys really comes out in Porn and Politics.
It really does.
We've had some good feedback about that.
Yes,
with people saying like, dude, that's how I think.
Yes, absolutely. It's been a lot of fun to kind of let loose on those shows in all regards. So it's been really cool.
Yeah, you can still feel we're dipping our toes though. Like you're still kind of worried about finding our voice. Like there's a couple of times where we're like, I don't want to say that because I know someone's going to call me some sort of ist.
Yeah, I mean it's hard, but at the same, we're definitely beginning to let go of that, or we've done a pretty good job so far. But yeah, I mean I'm definitely starting to adopt a more I don't give an F mentality. So. But yeah, it's always a shift whenever everything that you say is then going to be online forever. And so you kind of have to remember that.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think I've said anything in any of those so far that I've regretted. Like, I mean, because I now am thinking of everything of like, you know, if my daughter ends up growing up and any of these programs are still running, like she's going to hear me recording these things, you know, and I'm thinking about them going like, is there anything in there that I wouldn't want her to know? And like, yeah, there's stuff in there about like things that I've done with other girlfriends, but I mean, sex happens. I'd rather her be aware of like, you know, what guys are like out there in their younger hunting days and basically be more aware of what the manipulative ones are like. Yeah. And recognize the good guys for what they are when they come along, you know, and basically, you know, be attracted to that, not the pieces of crap.
I'm just thinking more about all the people that might have said some really terrible things like years ago if they were asked about like the civil rights movement or something like that, you know.
Well, I mean, if you've got a guy, if you went back, and this is what fascinates me about pop culture in the US at the moment, is that someone says the wrong thing and people want them to be hung. They want them to be fired. They want them to never have a second chance. You know, they make one bad comment about a woman, a transgender, an old person, like someone that isn't white, middle class, and employed.
Yeah.
If you say about anyone else, they want your head on a spike. Unless you're running for the seat of president of the United States, in which case you could have said anything that you want for the preceding 60 years of your life. Yeah. Have it brought up, and what would ruin an average person if someone says, you know, in an interview, so I'm you sound great on paper, sir. Yeah, it's great. We're loving the way you're interviewing. But I just want to ask you about this interview I saw on YouTube where you were on a bus and you said something about sexually assaulting a woman. That's kind of not the kind of thing we're looking for at this company right now. But then you can become the leader of the free world, so to speak.
Yeah, the gap there is insane.
Yeah.
It's quite crazy.
But that's the weird thing is that people love him for that IDGAF attitude,
right?
That you know, a lot of people want to express but don't, and you know that he actually says things. I guess that most politicians will talk in circles and never really tell you what they think because they're so terrified of offending anyone. They don't want to tell you where they stand on the issues. But
right, which comes with its own problems also. But yeah, this is more of a problem, I would say. But Dorian will probably be upset if we go down this road, considering where all of our views lie.
Sure.
But yeah, I think that either way, we've given a nice little preview of what's to come with A&R too. And anyone that's interested, you can go to alternatereality.com or you can go to our Discord at discord.me/ANR. And that'll bring you right in with an invite. So yeah, lots of fun stuff there. You can always talk to us. If you're listening to this podcast right now, you probably know you can find either one of us on our servers too. You can talk to us there. And I think that's pretty much everything, right? We're good?
Yeah, I was going to say, if they wanted any other way to contact me, I'm also at Chewburger84 on Twitter or Instagram. I've been doing a lot more Instagram posts lately, mainly for Gamers with Grit, which is sort of part video game, part weight loss, and showing what I'm up to there. So I've been doing a little bit more, like, you know, 1 to 2 minute little vlog type things over the last couple of days. So if that interests you, check it out.
Good point. And also, you can find me at Hebrew Hammer X, and you can also follow Alternate Reality at Alternate Real too. So that's pretty much it for all of our projects. Sorry this podcast went to Darkest Timeline so quick, as we mentioned, but yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So for the patrons and everyone supporting the show, we really, really, really appreciate it once again, as always. Sorry this episode was not done live this week because we for some reason my internet's terrible. And I have problems with Discord. It does not get along with Discord. So usually we have to go through Dorian to do the live show. So we weren't able to do that this time. So sorry to everyone that normally listens live. We'll be back next week for that. Don't worry, normal time. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, literally anywhere and everywhere that they have podcasts. And you can also find us once again on Patreon at patreon.com/Ravager Report. And then you can also join our Discord, of course, which is discord.me/Ravager Report. And you can also follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/Ravager Repo. So all those places, you can come and find us. No problem at all. And until next time, keep fighting, true believers.